Thanks.
Hello, everybody. In this clip, Bishop Barron is responding to a few questions following a lecture he gave on wokeism. If you want to check out the full lecture, I've linked it in the description below. What I find especially helpful here, though, and what we're going to focus on in this video is Bishop Barron's off-the-cuff responses in the Q&A. He gets to the heart of some of the deeper issues behind woke culture. This isn't just about understanding his ideas, though. It's about knowing how you might talk to your friends, family, and even your coworkers who've been shaped by this worldview. So let's watch this clip, and if you stick around after, I'll share my thoughts and unpack why Bishop Barron, what he is saying, is so important and unique. Check this out.
Well, thank you, Your Excellency. What an excellent talk. And we've got lots of questions coming in, and I'm going to go straight to them, even though I have several in the back of my own mind. You know, you ended in focusing on love and some of the key dimensions of Catholic social teaching that counter some of this wokeism. So there are a couple of questions from members of the audience that focus on this idea of love, one of which is, many young people embrace woke ideas with the good intention of seeking to love their neighbor and the poor. How can we show them that this is not true love?
Yeah, and that's a typical rhetorical move, and I hear that all the time. Look, Bishop, doesn't wokeism just mean that we should be awake to social injustice and try to fight it on behalf of the underprivileged and so on? Sure, if that's what wokeism means, of course, then I'm woke and I'm all in favor of it. But that's not what it means. That in fact, when you read the theorists, what you get is, I think, what I was describing. So no, of course, if you see real injustice, you fight it. And to me, that's a basic principle of common decency as well as Catholic social teaching. So if that's all you mean by wokeism, fine. Stick with love. You will the good of the other. And then that means you have to know what those goods are. That can't be a matter of your invention of goods that correspond to your private desires. You've got some keen sense of the objective quality of it. So I would say, sure, stick with love, but wokeism, as their own theorists describe it, is much more than just caring for the poor.
So you mentioned that you need to also then know what the goods are that you're pursuing. And another question related to love is somebody had asked, how can we demonstrate to people that this ideology actually leads to ends that are quite sad and harmful?
Yeah, well, I think it's obvious. I think it shows up in fact that when you walk down this path of I've got my values, you got your values, we're going to vaguely tolerate each other, we don't have real coherence in the society. We don't have real communio. We just have a sort of vague collection of individuals tolerating each other. So I think that's obvious in the very antagonisms that are evident in our society. Go on social media any time of the day or night, and you want to see a Hobbesian antagonistic society. So I think it's very plain that the disaffiliation from religion and the denial of objective moral and epistemic value has conduced toward a very contentious and litigious and dangerous society. I think that's plain.
So given that, and if there are individuals that are claiming continually that it's relativism, whether in truth claims or in morality, are we then just left with simply a power struggle?
Yeah, I think we are. That's the problem. That's exactly what happens. And Nietzsche was right. I mean, so if God is dead, well, then values are gone, because values are grounded metaphysically in the supreme good or the unconditioned good. If that all disappears, what's left is the will to power. And who are you to tell me that I shouldn't assert my will whenever I can? So I think that happens as night follows day, that when God and objective value are marginalized. So that doesn't surprise me at all. We have to re-enchant our young people, it seems to me. And it's great, kind of heroes and geniuses in the artistic realm, in the epistemic realm, in the moral order, who display value. I think of someone like, Dietrich von Hildebrand would use language like that, is that when you see something that's objectively valuable, it changes you. You're not in control of it. It's in control of you, right? It rearranges your own interiority. If something is merely subjectively satisfying, to use his language, well, then I'm in charge of it. I'm in control of it. It's kind of finding its way within my system of apprehension. but the objectively valuable, like Mother Teresa, you see, or Maximilian Kolbe, like a great saint. Well, that rearranges you. Or Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. I don't like it. How silly to say something like that. Because Beethoven's Seventh Symphony is reworking your consciousness. It shapes your world. I think we have to reintroduce our young people to that wonderful realm of objective value, which makes things so much more fun and interesting than this self-invention business. I mean, God saved me from the little, what did Hemingway say, the well-lighted space of my own little tiny ego. Bore me to death with that. You know what I'm saying? But when an objective value appears, now life becomes rich and wonderful.
So am I understanding you correctly then that it's effectively appealing through forms of beauty, that there might be a way to draw people, especially if you're being canceled and you can't even have dialogue? Maybe it's just a demonstration of forms of beauty.
Right. One of my convictions, if you take the three transcendentals, the true and the good are really hard to get traction with today because of the relativism. But the beautiful has a way of sneaking past our resistance. When you just show something, just read this, just look at this. It has a way of sneaking past our defenses and gets into people's psyches. I've argued, like Brideshead Revisited, which is one of I think, the great Catholic novel of the 20th century. What first intrigued Charles Ryder, who's, like a lot of people today, kind of a cool agnostic, right? But what first intrigued him about Brideshead was the beauty of it. And Brideshead, the manor house in that story, is evocative of a church, I think. Christ is head of his bride, the church, and all that. It was the beauty of Brideshead that first intrigued them. And I find that's a good way into the hearts of people today.
What Bishop Barron is saying here is incredibly important. You see, the real problem with wokeism isn't that it wants to care for people, it's how it defines that care. If being woke meant being awake to injustice and loving people by truly willing their good, we could get behind that. After all, love is central to the Christian life. But the love that woke culture often promotes isn't the love that leads to healing or transformation. It's a love rooted in emotion, power dynamics, and moral relativism. It leaves people where they are rather than inviting them into the life Christ desires for them. And this is the key point. Real love doesn't mean affirming everything about someone's current state. It means calling them to something higher. It means leading them to Christ, not just comforting them in their brokenness. The danger of wokeism is that it dilutes the gospel by redefining love into something soft, something safe, something sentimental. But God's love is strong, and it's a beautifully strong type of love that changes lives. That's why we can't settle for the culture's definition of love. We have to live into the true thing, the love that tells the truth, that seeks the good, and that points people to Jesus Christ, who is beauty himself. And once someone sees Christ for who he really is, they'll never want to settle for less again. Be thinking about that. Here are 5 takeaways just really quickly. Number one, true love means willing the good of the other, not just affirming them where they are, but leading them to the life Christ wants for them. Number two, wokeism often redefines love through emotion and power, detaching it from the truth and turning it into affirmation rather than transformation. Number three, Christians must resist cultural distortions of love, not being harsh, but by refusing to dilute the gospel's call to holiness and healing. Number four, the beauty of Christ is evangelistic. It draws people in and softens hearts in a way that pure argument or moral pressure cannot. Number five, the church's response must be both truthful and beautiful, offering a love that speaks boldly and shines with the radiant beauty of Christ himself. You see, in the end, if you want to love the world as God loves it, we can't settle for watered down definitions. Love isn't about comfort, it's about calling. It's about the truth, it's about beauty, and the kind of mercy that transforms hearts, not just affirms feelings. As Bishop Barron reminds us, the church's mission isn't to mirror the culture, but to awaken it into action, to offer something deeper, truer, and far more beautiful, the love of Christ that saves. That's all I have for this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Remember that Christianity is Christ, and without him, there is no Christianity. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.